Yo, what is going on, Headliner Nation? Kyle back with the fantasy headliners, and I dropped a video last week giving you all the heads up that we wanted to back up the claim that we are the most interactive community here on YouTube for fantasy sports, and we were going to be putting together a series of videos, and we wanted to give you all the opportunity to vote and let your voices be heard. So we put together a bracket challenge similar to what you would find with like NCAA March Madness. All right, we've got each one of our positions separated out into different brackets, and we're going to run these positions all the way through to see who is the champion of the preseason. Well, very early preseason, that is anyway. And ladies and gentlemen, you all have been voting on the community tab here on YouTube where we've been putting the polls, and we have all of the data finally collected and put together, and we're going to go through and give you an idea of who won and who surprised us, and were the votes closer than what we thought. And this is just really a good exercise at this point in the season to see where player values kind of line up with each other as well, and to see not just what Jake and I think, but what does the community think? What do you all think in terms of player value as well? I mean, you all sit back and hear us talk consistently. Now you get a chance to say, hey, as a community, this is what we are thinking. So this is a great exercise. I absolutely love this idea, and we're going to be doing this again in the future. But for now, we've got the first round, and we're going to dive into that. But just a quick heads up, ladies and gentlemen, this is an insane week. So the graphics that you are about ready to see, they're like C+ work for me at best, all right? But I promise you I'm going to step up my graphics games for the next video. I ran out of time. I coach softball. We have 2 practices and a game, and we got to get content out this week, and I've got a full-time job, and I got a family, and I've got all this stuff. So I started working on the graphics, and I was like, oh my God, these graphics are going to take forever. So we made the executive decision to try to make them look the best we could for this video, and we'll spice things up for the next round. So don't you worry. Don't you worry, chat. We're going to get everything rolling here with the graphics. So I apologize for that, but let's talk about the content, all right? That's what really matters. That's why we're here. And let's start with our first bracket, which is the quarterbacks. Taking a look, Patrick Mahomes beating Aaron Rodgers with an 84% vote. That, I don't want to say it surprised me, but it kind of did. I thought maybe it'd be a little bit closer to maybe like a 75% vote for Patrick Mahomes. I just honestly thought that there was going to be a lot of Aaron Rodgers fans out there that were going to be like, hey, yo, don't ever bet against A-Rod, and you were going to go with him. Now, maybe part of it is just the fact that we all know Patrick Mahomes is the number 1 quarterback. Maybe some of it is that we don't know really where Aaron Rodgers is going to play. It'd be really interesting to see where this would line up if Aaron Rodgers had, let's say, already been traded to Denver. Now, keep in mind, the seeds that you see there are not Jake and I's rankings. These are the expert consensus rankings. So if there's someone that you see with a seed that should have been different and you don't like it, go tell the experts, the quote-unquote experts. You know Jake and I don't believe in that word, okay? Well, go talk to them. So Patrick Mahomes taking the first game 84%. The next matchup, Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson. Kyler Murray coming through with a 63% win here. Now, a lot of you were very passionate about the fact that Russell Wilson should have won this. We saw the comments out there. There were a few of you that could not understand how Russell Wilson was losing to Kyler Murray. But Kyler Murray is going to be running more than what Russell Wilson will be. Russell Wilson is not at the point of his career where he's going to be running all over the field the way that he used to. And Kyler Murray, he has just a ton of weapons around him right now. And we have not heard the coaches come out and say this offseason that, oh, we're going to run and run and run and run, which is what the Seahawks have done. So Kyler Murray winning here, not a surprise to me. Our first upset of the bracket, is Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, even coming off of that major injury, beating Lamar Jackson with 56% of the vote. This one I was very surprised in. I thought for sure Lamar Jackson was going to win this. I don't know if it's just because everyone knows that Dak Prescott is going to have to throw the ball 987 times this year, or what it might be, or maybe people are just losing faith in Lamar Jackson's consistency. I'm not sure. This one caught me off guard by quite a bit. I was not anticipating Dak Prescott winning this, especially coming off the injury. The 7 and 2 seeds, Justin Herbert losing out to Josh Allen, who had 69% of the vote. Justin Herbert, he just gets an awful draw here, right? If he would have been going up, really, I suspect against anybody else except maybe Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes, he probably gets a win. But going up against Josh Allen, who had a terrific season last year, I did think that maybe it might be a little bit closer just because I thought there might be some people out there who would say, no, Josh Allen's going to regress, and we haven't seen nearly the best of Justin Herbert, who now has a better offensive line, great weapons, all that good stuff. So 69% of the vote, a little bit higher than what I had anticipated, but not too bad. Not too bad. Going with Josh Allen there as the winner. A major upset here as number 16 seed Trevor Lawrence takes down 9 seed Jalen Hurts with 56% of the votes. This did not surprise me in the least. I thought if there was going to be an upset in this quarterback bracket, that it was going to be Trevor Lawrence over Jalen Hurts. I've expressed my concerns about Jalen Hurts in a video already. Trevor Lawrence, obviously the new shiny toy that people absolutely love. Trevor Lawrence pulling out the upset here, 56%. And I don't necessarily say I disagree with it either. Matthew Stafford getting a win as the 11 seed over 14 Matt Ryan with 74% of the vote. People are excited to see him in LA. There's not really much else to say about it other than that. You could argue that Matt Ryan has the better passing weapons, but Matthew Stafford is right there close to him. So 74% of the vote, a little bit on the higher side, but not surprised Stafford getting the dub there. Joe Burrow coming off the ACL injury, pulling off a pretty decisive victory over Ryan Tannehill. People wanting that upside of Joe Burrow throwing all the time, and understand with Ryan Tannehill that he's lost Corey Davis, he lost Jonnu Smith, and of course they are going to run. And the biggest win in this bracket is number 10 seed Tom Brady over number 15 Kirk Cousins. Tom Brady could end up running this all the way down to Patrick Mahomes. We'll have to see if those two end up meeting in the Elite Eight of this matchup. But Tom Brady could end up running down pretty far into this. Definitely see him getting a win over Joe Burrow in the next round. Would be very shocked if that happened. Now, let's move on to the running backs, starting off with number 1, Christian McCaffrey against number 8, Nick Chubb. And Nick Chubb, I honestly thought that this was going to be closer. I mean, y'all know our love for Nick Chubb here. And with how much we preach it, I thought a lot of people were going to vote to take the safe bet in Nick Chubb. But nope, they want to take that half PPR upside of Christian McCaffrey. They believe he's going to get the volume, 82% of the vote here, giving Christian McCaffrey the win. Derrick Henry with a pretty decisive win over Jonathan Taylor, the 3 versus 6 seed. Derrick Henry getting 83% of the vote. A little bit of an upset here, but maybe not quite as much as some people would think. Alvin Kamara with 55% of the vote takes down number 4, Saquon Barkley. It appears that 55% of Headliner Nation don't care that there's a possibility that Taysom Hill is the quarterback for Alvin Kamara. Because let me tell you, if Taysom Hill sees a majority of the snaps at quarterback, Alvin Kamara has absolutely zero pass catching upside. The dude did nothing last season as a pass catcher when Taysom Hill was the starter. So we have to believe at this point that either they think Jameis Winston is going to be the starter, or this offense is somehow going to right that wrong from last season and make sure that Alvin Kamara still gets plenty of touches. Nobody wants anything to do with Zeke. 88% go with Dalvin Cook, the 2 seed, over number 7 seed Ezekiel Elliott. I'm going to tell you all, do not sleep on Zeke this year. I thought that this would be much closer than what it was, because I thought some people would say, you know what? I'll take Ezekiel Elliott over Dalvin Cook, who does have some issues with injuries in his past. But that doesn't matter. People are much more willing to take the risk with Dalvin Cook, with Zeke coming off an absolutely horrible season last year. But I can't imagine that it's going to be anywhere close to that again. Aaron Jones re-signing with the Green Bay Packers gets a win. The 77% vote there for him, the 9 seed over the 16 seed, J.K. Dobbins. That was a pretty easy one in my opinion. Definitely thought Aaron Jones was going to get a win there. Number 11, Cam Akers, only one with a 70% vote. I thought that this was going to be like in the 80s. I thought that this was going to be much higher than what it was. Miles Sanders, a lot of owners seeing that them just signing running back after running back after running back after running back, and Cam Akers, a guy that a lot of people are on this season, could be in for a very, very good year. Number 13, Antonio Gibson. I get it. Y'all hate Joe Mixon. Okay. Joe Mixon losing to Antonio Gibson, 65%. I understand it. I get a lot of you are still basically upset about last year. But ladies and gentlemen, Joe Mixon, you're going to be able to get in probably the 3rd round this year. And he is going to be a probably top 5 back in touches. So just because we look at Antonio Gibson and see him coming off a stronger year last year, don't just automatically give it to Gibson over Joe Mixon. It would be kind of fun to have a little bit of a debate with those of you out there who picked Antonio Gibson over Joe Mixon, just to hear why, and give me, let me know in the comments below if you voted for Antonio Gibson, why, and give me some good feedback. Don't just say because you hate Joe Mixon or Joe Mixon sucks, because hating Joe Mixon, that's fine if you do, but we're talking about who do you think has the most fantasy value. And if you say Joe Mixon sucks, you don't watch tape, and I'm willing to bet all the money in my bank account on that. So Joe Mixon, Antonio Gibson, let me know in the comments if you voted for Gibson, why over Mixon. I'd like to hear some more feedback on that. Austin Eckler getting a pretty decisive win over DeAndre Swift. This one caught me off guard. I thought Swift was going to pull an upset here. We know that there's not a whole lot of people that love Austin Eckler. There's a lot of people in this community who over and over and over have expressed their concern with Austin Eckler being a full-time back, and with DeAndre Swift having quite a bit of hype this offseason, not really being cooled down by Jamal Williams. Taking a look at it here, it doesn't matter to people here. Austin Eckler, 76% over DeAndre Swift. That shocked me. I thought that this was going to be closer, or Swift was going to at least pull the upset here. That does not happen, however, and Eckler walks away with the dub. And the wide receiver position, let's hop on over to the other side of our bracket. At the wide receiver position, I'm really surprised that this one ended up at 78%. Devonte Adams, yes, I know it says Adans. Apparently, I just can't spell Devonte Adams' name right this week because I went through and I did all this work only to find out that apparently I had messed it up in the spreadsheet. And I also messed his name up in the poll. So I'm just having one of those weeks, Headliner Nation. It's just one of those weeks. All the little things. I got to figure it out, though. Okay, got to step my game up. I'm going to do it, though. Don't you worry. Going to be fixed in the next show. Devonte Adams with 78% over Justin Jefferson. I thought this would be a lot closer, with a lot of people saying, I'm going to be very careful with Devonte Adams without knowing what is happening with Aaron Rodgers and the season that Justin Jefferson is coming off of. There was definitely a lot of 1 versus 8 seeds that just absolutely were awful to see. I mean, Nick Chubb loses against a 1 seed as an 8 seed. Is an 8 seed. Aaron Rodgers loses to Patrick Mahomes as an 8 seed. So there was a lot of really good 8 seeds that are losing because, and you're going to see one at tight end here in a second as well, that lost basically because they got put up against the 1 seed. Stephon Diggs over DK Metcalf. I was kind of shocked by some of the comments in the community tab on this one. There was a few of you that had a little back and forth about DK Metcalf that got pretty heated. And I don't understand why. Stephon Diggs is coming off of the league-leading receiving yard season over DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf also has Tyler Lockett there. DK Metcalf is also on a team where the head coach has said, we need to run the ball more this season. Stephon Diggs, I'm taking him over DK Metcalf 10 out of 10 times. If in Dynasty you want to go DK Metcalf, all right, that's fine. But Stephon Diggs, give me Stephon Diggs in redraft. I'm not moving away from him whatsoever. So I was really shocked to see some very, very, very in-depth DK Metcalf truthers out there that wanted to make sure that people for Stephon Diggs, voting for Stephon Diggs, understood how wrong they were. But there's nobody right or wrong here. Okay, this is a fun exercise, Headliner Nation. We're supposed to be having some fun with this. A little bit of a shock here. DeAndre Hopkins, 70% over A.J. Brown. I thought this one would be a lot closer, especially with everybody talking about the workload that A.J. Brown, the target share he's going to have this year. DeAndre Hopkins seeing another wide receiver added to this roster as well with Rondale Moore in the draft. Obviously, A.J. Green through free agency. So A.J. Brown losing here 70-30 really caught me off guard. I thought A.J. Brown would have an opportunity to pull the upset here, but then Hopkins comes in with a 70% win. Tyreek Hill over Calvin Ridley, 83%. This one didn't really surprise me. Obviously, with a lot of mouths to feed there in Atlanta. Calvin Ridley losing to Tyreek Hill, not really a shock. Keenan Allen over Amari Cooper. You know me, I love Amari, but I knew that this one was going to be. I mean, both these guys' jerseys hanging up behind me. I knew this one was not going to be close. I knew people were going to go with Keenan Allen here. Allen Robinson over Mike Evans with 74% of the vote. There was several people as well who were questioning the Allen Robinson votes. You know, how are we going with Allen Robinson? Look at what Mike Evans has done. I get it, but Allen Robinson could be playing with his first really good quarterback ever with Justin Fields there now. Heck, I'll take Andy Dalton over what he's had as a quarterback so far in his career. So either way, it's a win for Allen Robinson. I'm all in on him in 2021, excuse me. Terry McLaurin, 63% over Julio Jones. Didn't really surprise me there either. Julio Jones, a lot of mouths around him. Terry McLaurin, not nearly as much. And to wrap it up, 59% of you are not worried about Taysom Hill whatsoever. Kind of like I said with Alvin Kamara. I am. I'll take Chris Godwin over Michael Thomas. I don't want to touch Michael Thomas. I'm worried about him. Yes, he should still see a decent amount of volume, but this one's tough. This one's tough. Right now, I would still go Chris Godwin. We'll see how the rest of the offseason plays out, though. That could obviously change for me. Heading down to tight ends now. Kyle Pitts, another 8 seed, a really, really good 8 seed that gets taken out. I would have liked to see Kyle Pitts go up against basically anybody outside of the top 3 of Kelsey, Kittle, and Waller to see how far Kyle Pitts would have made it. But he gets knocked out here in the first round. This is not, I did the brackets before I even put names in. And the reason they're a little bit different, where like a 1 isn't facing a 16, because we knew the 1 was going to beat the 16 every single time. We knew that the 2 was going to be beat the 15 every single time. We wanted to have guys a little bit closer. We wanted to see more of the tight end 1s against the tight end 1s and more of the tight end 2s against the tight end 2s, and see if it could promote some more dialogue and some more upsets along the way. But Travis Kelce, obviously everybody going with him, 91% of the vote there. Darren Waller getting 96% of the vote over Dallas Goedert. No argument there either. TJ Hawkinson only with 51% of the vote, the closest vote out of any of the brackets. Hawkinson barely pulling out the win over Mark Andrews. I thought TJ Hawkinson would win this one pretty easily, and it was very close. At one point, he was actually losing. It was a late push towards the end of the voting there where he finally squeaked out the 51%. George Kittle, a big winner there over Noah Fant with 94% of the vote. No shock with that. I messed this up 100%. Logan Thomas actually won this matchup. Logan Thomas won with 56% of the vote, not Hunter Henry. So my apologies there. 56% of the vote going to Logan Thomas at number 9. Not really that big of a shock there. Jonnu Smith was at number 14. He lost to Mike Gesicki, who was at number 11. Both of those tight ends not really knowing how it's going to play out this season with both of them being there. Obviously, a lot of people very wary of them. Irv Smith Jr. getting a narrow win over Tyler Higbee. This was another good matchup that I would have liked to seen split out to see how far Tyler Higbee could have gone. Irv Smith Jr. getting the win there, though, which wasn't too much of a shock. And then 71% of the vote going to Bobby Tunyon over Evan Ingram. I know y'all hate Evan Ingram. I 100% get it. It's fine. He loses with he loses there to Robert Tonyan, 77% of the vote. There you have it, Headliner Nation, breaking down the first part of our bracket challenge here, and we'll make sure that we go even more in depth as the brackets continue, and we'll start putting up the next round of voting here in the next couple of days. So make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure y'all comment down below, especially those of you talking about Gibson, and Joe Mixon. Why did you go with that? Or was there any matchups here that shocked you? Any upsets or any wins where you were like, man, I really didn't see that coming. I thought it was going to be a lot closer. I thought it would go the other way. Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget, keep an eye on our community tab here. We're going to try to interact with y'all more and more often on there, and really use that as a forum here on the Fantasy Headliners to get you all into the content and to get your all's feedback and let you have a voice in the most interactive community here on YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get out of here. Everybody stay safe and stay healthy, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.